Hey kids, Christmas is coming. Yay! And you know what that means, right? Peppermint mochas. Oh, you weren't thinking of coffee? You were probably thinking of presents, weren't you? Presents are awesome too. Did you know the tradition of gift giving really dates back to when the wise men brought gifts for baby Jesus? They had interesting taste in gifts. They brought in gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Not your typical baby gifts, but those gifts had very special meanings, and we're going to find out today what they were. Speaking of wise men, do you know how many wise men actually came to visit baby Jesus? We don't know. Many times you'll see a picture of 3 of them, but really the Bible isn't clear. It could have been 2, it could have been 20. What we do know is that these were very intelligent men. They studied the stars, they read prophecies, they were willing to travel hundreds, even thousands of miles to visit a baby king that they believed by faith had been born. They were intelligent, but they were also willing to follow the leading of God. And the gifts they brought Jesus had very special meanings. Matthew 2 verse 11 says, "On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh." The first gift they brought baby Jesus was gold. Gold was very costly and valuable. Only the rich and the wealthy could have gold. Kings made their thrones out of gold, their cups out of gold, their chariots, even their armor out of gold. King Solomon, when he built the temple for God, covered the whole building in gold. Gold was a symbol of royalty or kingship. So how appropriate that the wise men would have brought gold to Jesus, whom they called the King of the Jews. The Bible also calls him the King of Kings. That is, the highest king that there could possibly be. The second gift was frankincense. Does your mom ever burn smelly candles? This one smells like gingerbread. Well, frankincense was kind of like a smelly candle that they burned in the temple. The priests made a special mixture of frankincense and other spices, and they would burn that fragrance as a pleasing aroma to God. The priests also were responsible for making offerings to God, like sin offerings on behalf of the people. They had a very holy position before God, and they got to even go into his very presence in the temple. The reason that the wise men brought frankincense to Jesus is to remind us that Jesus is also a priest. He also has access to the very presence of God. And he's not just a priest for a short period of time, like a regular person would be, but he's priest forever. And the sin offering he made was not an animal sacrifice, but the sacrifice of his own body on a cross. Jesus is our priest. The third gift was myrrh. Myrrh, like frankincense, comes from tree resin. Have you ever climbed a pine tree and gotten sap all over your hands? Well, that's what I mean when I say tree resin. These resins can be used in lots of different ways, like with perfumes and lotions. Queen Esther in the Bible used myrrh in her beauty treatments, and the ancient Egyptians used myrrh when they embalmed mummies. Myrrh was also one of the ingredients in that special incense mixture we talked about that burned in God's temple. We know that when Jesus grew up, he died on the cross. And guess what they used to embalm his body before they put it in the tomb? Right, myrrh. The wise men's gift of myrrh at the beginning of Jesus' life was pointing to the end of his life when he would die for all the world. Myrrh reminds us that Jesus is the Savior of the world. Now, these 3 gifts would have been weird gifts to give to a regular baby, but to Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God, it made perfect sense. I don't know if the wise men understood that these 3 gifts would have so much significance, but to us, we know that they point to Jesus being King, priest, and Savior. The other cool thing is that Isaiah the prophet predicted that these gifts would be given to Jesus 700 years before he was even born. Isaiah 60 verse 6 says, "Herds of camels will cover your land, young camels of Midian and Ephah, and all from Sheba will come, bearing gold and incense, and proclaiming the praise of the Lord." The wise men gave gifts that were precious and valuable to them because they wanted to honor Jesus. How about you? Do you believe Jesus is King, priest, and Savior? How might you honor him this Christmas? Take a minute to Google this verse, John 6:29, and you'll find out what Jesus really wants from you. See you next time.